Welcome everybody. This is Fikaya of Fix It Finance. We have a good one for you today. Today we are talking about uh excuse me, ways to save money that actually work. So unconventional ways to save money that actually work. So if you're new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to know when videos are released if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not on YouTube, go on YouTube and subscribe. Check out my short videos. I did a whole bunch of short videos. And you're guaranteed to learn something. I go live on Saturdays. Right now, it seems I'm doing it every other week just because life is lifing, as you can imagine. Um, but if you're new here, you definitely will be learning something. And we have a good one for you today. So I'm talking about, so especially in this economy and with the way things are going, and just it is well. Okay. We need to start thinking outside the box. Okay. We need to let go of some conventional ways of thinking in order to be able to actually survive and what's the word I'm looking for? In order to actually uh, make the most of the money that we're actually making, because there's so many things in this economy, so many things that are just wanting to grab your money. Okay. And here at Fixing Finance, we always teach that at the end of the day, it's not about how much you make, right? Let me mute this phone. It's about how well you manage what you make. Okay. Because whether you're making more or you're making less, if you don't know how to manage it, it's just going to fly away from your hands. We know from experience. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about, like I said, ways to save money that actually work. So I'm going to be every single thing on this list I do, or I have done, or I am currently doing. Okay, so I'm not sharing things with you that do not work. I'm sharing things with you that actually work. Okay, so these are items like I mentioned, me and my husband were currently doing right now, and it helps us. It saves us a ton of money. It saves us time. It saves us stress. At the end of the day, we're after peace here. We don't want stress in our life. There's so many things that are stressful already. We don't want stress in our life. So let's get right into it. So today, um, one of the first things we did, in order to save money. So when we first bought our condo, we had what do you call it, cable for free for the first year. Okay. And after that first year, we noticed we weren't really using it. And then we decided, you know what, let's not just buy cable, because we're in the middle of paying off debt at the time. And we said, let's see what could actually happen. Okay. Turns out it was great. We haven't had cable in 7 years and we don't miss it. We don't miss it. My engineer just turned on more lights. Okay. We haven't had cable for 7 years now. We got married 8 years ago. So we had cable the first year of marriage because it was free. And then after that, no cable, and we've not missed it. A lot of people told us, oh, when you have kids, you're going to need cable. We have kids now, or we have a child now, but still we don't have cable and we don't miss it. Okay. So now it's a good way for you to save money if you're paying for cable, especially cable you barely use. One of the reasons we didn't renew it was we noticed we'll get home from work, for example, we didn't want to watch cable. We were getting most of our news from, the internet and whatnot, and Apple News and co. And, no offense, Canadian news coverage at the time was not even that great. Now they're getting much better because they won't cover so much happening around the world, only things that were happening in Canada or the US. Anyways, things have gotten much better now. So, at the end of the day, even with kids, we don't have it and we don't miss it. So that's one way you can save money. If you have things like cable, things like that you're paying for that you don't use, just cancel it and be done with it. The next thing is we buy used where possible. Now, please stay true to your conscience. Like someone like me, I can't do use certain things used. I just cannot do it just because whatever that is to you, pick it and don't buy used. But for every other thing, from clothes to appliances to cars to equipment to gear, you want to buy a Roomba, for example, vacuum cleaner. You can buy a used one that's working very well. You understand? Obviously, please use wisdom. There's sometimes, so when price versus quality doesn't make any more sense. For example, there are some of these equipment and some of these appliances that the older versions are actually better than the newer ones they're making today. Okay, so let's use wisdom. Obviously, if the price for the brand new one is $50, the price for the old one is $40, and the quality is not that different, chances are you're better off buying new. So what I'm saying here is make sure you apply wisdom, but wherever possible, look at used stuff first. Okay, check secondhand first. You'll be surprised how many good quality things are out there that people bought and they didn't use. One of my favorite things to tell people is when you want to buy a car, go and look for estate sales. Go and look for all these, older men, older women. They've driven the same car for 13 years, and the car has less than 100,000 clicks on it because they were not going anywhere. that car is pretty much next to brand new, and they maintained it meticulously. Okay, so those are the kind of things you should look for. Check secondhand, good quality secondhand wherever possible. Okay. And like I mentioned, don't go against your conscience. If there's some things you just cannot buy used, that's okay. Don't buy it used. Okay. Um, the third thing that we do, like I mentioned, everything I'm mentioning here is stuff that we do, we're currently doing, or we are, we practice every day. Make sure. So one of the I have a comment here already. It says, Michael says, even when kids come and they grow, they mostly watch exactly. They watch YouTube and Disney. They don't watch cable anymore. Okay, so don't waste your money on cable if you don't need it. Yes. Thank you so much for that comment, Michael. The third thing we do is we use things till they die. I don't know when we changed as a society. Before, if you bought something, you used it forever and a day. The thing will be breaking safe, it will be torn, and you will still continue using it. You understand? But now, because of influencer culture, everything looks so brand new and so, dish car like this. Everybody wants their things to be brand new. You don't need some of those things if you don't have to have it that way. Okay. So we're always quick to replace items that don't necessarily need replacing just because we want something new. So let's be careful of things like that. Like clothes, in my opinion, should be worn until they are torn, until they start changing color. Why are you changing your clothes if it still has a lot of life left? Now, if it's no longer your size, that's different. By all means, get rid of it. But if it's still your size, the color has not changed and it's not torn yet. Even when it's torn, safe, you can still needle and thread one or two things. Again, you may not be a fan of some of these things, but in my mind, for example, someone like me right now, as of today, I literally own 4 pair of jeans. Okay, 2 black, 2 blue. One is long, the other is short. So I have 2 blue jeans, one long, one short, and then I have 2 black jeans, one long, one short, and I only replace them when they tear. Okay, because why am I having 75 pair of jeans? Okay, now if you're a fashionista and that's what you're into, that's different. Okay, but if you're not, don't put yourself under pressure to buy some of these things. Okay, same with shoes. We don't change our shoes until the shoes are literally done. Sometimes my husband will be like, it's time, it's time. We'll look at the shoe and be like, yeah, it's time, it's time. You understand? So don't use things until they die. Okay, you're not just saving money, you're also saving the planet. Okay, you're saving the environment. Things like vehicles, for example, don't replace your vehicle if the vehicle is still strong. We have, for example, I say it all the time on this channel, we bought a Corolla. That Corolla is still kicking strong, 12 years in, no problem, almost 300,000 kilometers and still going strong. We maintain it. And many people have driven that car and we thank God for it. You understand? It's still going very strong. We have no plans of replacing it anytime soon just because it's old. Okay, so don't necessarily buy into that narrative of, once the car is 5 years old or it's 4 years old or it's over 100,000 kilometers, you have to change it. Is story. If you're maintaining it very well, that car can last you till it dies. Next thing, you want to limit subscriptions. Okay, that's one thing we do, and we are very intentional about it because there's so many subscriptions out there. We only pay for Netflix and Prime. We found those are the two we use the most. The rest, I used to use a friend's Disney Plus. Shout out to my girl Jen, but I've stopped using it because I barely watch it. You understand? What do you call it? Hulu, HBO Max, YouTube Premium, all those things. If you don't need it, don't pay for it. Why are you paying for 14 subscriptions on one account? Why? You understand? Or be strategic about the subscription you're paying for. For example, if you pay for YouTube Premium, you get a whole bunch of things. Okay, so you may not need to pay for other things. Okay, but at the end of the day, just choose one or two that you really like and keep it moving. Limit subscriptions wherever possible. One of the reasons I'm very, very particular about subscriptions is because the money is so small in so many cases. A lot of people forget about it. I can't count how many people, when I'm reviewing, say their debit or their credit transactions, that's when we figure out, they've been paying for one random subscription, $14 a month. They didn't even realize. You understand? So make sure you're very, very careful with subscriptions because they'll just be chopping your money. Or if you're the kind of person that pays annually, even worse, because you pay for it, you won't use it, and then next year they're going to charge you again. Okay, so cancel subscriptions you don't use, limit them in general. This one is a big one. This one is especially with the housing market and the way things are at right now, we have to be very careful with this one. But here on Fix It Finance, we always let you guys know to keep your housing costs anywhere between 25 and no more than 35% of your income. 25 is the ideal. If it's at 30, 31, 32, that's okay. But you want to make sure you keep your housing costs low. Okay. Like, because, and the main reason for this is because there's a lot of life right, outside of your mortgage and your housing costs. Okay, for example, thankfully we're very, very intentional. Most of our housing costs, like our housing cost is currently about less than 25% of our take home pay. Okay, which means we have enough margin to be able to do things, put money in RESPs, put money in investments, save towards another house. You understand? So you want to be very, 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 very careful. Seems like my camera shifted there. You want to be very careful when you are when it comes to planning your housing. Okay, so whether you like it or not, the math must work. Yes, I get it. There are expensive houses, rent is expensive, mortgage is this, blah blah blah. But the math must work. You can't be making 5,000 a month and be paying 3,005 in rent or in mortgage or in your housing costs. It just does not work. Okay, so you want to make sure you keep your housing costs low wherever possible. Check out utilities, for example. Make sure your property tax, make sure you're not overpaying or underpaying. Make sure that with your mortgage you're getting the best rate. Okay, so you want to make sure you're very intentional about keeping your housing costs low, low wherever possible. Because if you're taking home, let's say you're taking home $10,000 and your housing cost is 3,500 a month, there's still so much margin left for you to be able to do other things. Okay, your budget can still absorb some shocks, like for example the COVID shock, or if you lose a job, or if whatever happens, your budget can still absorb it. But if your housing cost is 7,000 out of 10,000, that's just a very scary place to be. So if you're there, do whatever you can to make sure you get out of that cycle. um the next thing we do to save money is to control utilities. So now you want to be careful with this one, because if you tamper with your utilities too much, it can actually cost you more in the long run. So for example, right now, now that the weather is kind of weird, where it's very cold in the morning or overnight and then very hot in the afternoon, we don't put on the AC throughout. We turn it on when we come home from work for about 2 to 4 hours, and then we turn it off before we go to bed, because we open a window, because it's going to get super cold at night. Okay, and for the rest of the day nothing is on, and we see the savings in our budget. When the weather was changing too from winter to summer, we would only turn on the heat at night. Okay, because during the day there was enough heat coming from outside to keep the pipes and everything good. So with your utilities, you want to make sure you're monitoring it. Like, don't just turn it on and leave it on throughout because you can. Okay, I know a lot of us have been told, oh, if you touch it, or if you turn it off, or if you turn it on, then it will cost you more. That's not necessarily true. Having done it myself now, leaving it on throughout versus turning it off and turning it on, turning it off, turning it on actually saves us more money. Okay, so don't believe the lie. Again, check your own meter, check your own, what's the panels, whatever. Practice, do a few test runs, and whatever works for you works for you. Okay. um Next thing, limit gift giving. Now, let me put a caveat in this one. If gifts is your love language, this does not apply to you. Okay, for my husband and I, gift giving is not that high on our love language list. Okay, like, it's not a massive thing for us. So we don't buy into the obligation shopping. Oh, it's Mother's Day, you must buy something for me. Oh, it's Father's Day, I must buy something for you. Oh, it's Valentine, I must do this. Or it is Christmas, we must do that. We've gone several holidays, several birthdays, several celebrations where we don't buy anything for each other. Now, if I want something, I will clearly communicate. I think it was last year, was it Valentine? No, for my birthday, I specifically told him I want this perfume, I want this, and I think it was like three things. And he went, he bought it, gave me. I was the happiest person alive. This year for Father's Day, he didn't ask for anything for his birthday, but for Father's Day, he said, "I want this perfume." Let's go and look at the price of the cologne or whatever they call it. I say, this man, your eye have stretched you. I couldn't even find it anywhere online. So we're going to go buy it in another city because we're going to Calgary soon. And that's the only place I could find it. But my point is, we don't do obligation shopping in the sense of Christmas, we may not exchange any gifts. We may not do anything for each other. Birthdays, if I want something, I will say it. If I don't, I'll be like, please leave me alone. I don't need anything. You understand? So we're very open in our communication with one another. For example, last Mother's Day, I didn't really care. This Mother's Day, for example, I wanted something and I asked for it. You understand? So my point is, we've gone 8 years now. I think for 8 years, we didn't do anything for each other's birthday. And it doesn't mean we don't appreciate each other, okay? We appreciate each other very, very much. But my point is, we don't buy into obligation shopping, okay? So there's no, oh, you must buy something for me because it's Valentine's Day, or you must do this because it's, whatever day, just Canada Day. You understand? Like I said, if an occasion is coming and we really want something, we communicate each other, we budget for it, and we buy it. We also leave room for surprises. Like, if my husband wants to do something, he doesn't want me to know. He'll tell me, I need X amounts. and I need it for something, and he will go do what he needs to do, bring it home as a surprise. And my point is, but the communication is open. Okay. Um, Number 8, avoid recreational shopping. So this one saves us a ton of money. We don't go to the mall, we don't go to the store unless we absolutely need something. So I don't just go to the mall and be walking around. And I find this thing fascinating, especially for our African mothers. They just want to go to the mall and just walk around just because. And I remember, and I was like, if we go and do this walking around, we're going to spend money. There's no way you're going to walk around in a mall and not spend a cent. You will find something. You would, even if it's can do or share, you shall find something that's going to make you spend money. Okay. So most outings, like I'm saying here, should have a purpose, especially if it is going to present you with the opportunity to overspend. Okay. So make sure as much as possible that you are not going to the mall just for fun. Now, if you're going to the mall just to go and relax, walk, whatever, sure. But my point is just be intentional about it. Don't just go and be standing there walking up and down, you know. Exactly. So Michael is saying here, not giving a gift on Father's Day or Mother's Day is not a sin, especially if you are exactly. Why would you be using debt to go and buy each other gift for Mother's Day and Father's Day? Now it's different. Maybe if your marriage was in a place, you guys are going through some things. Maybe something just happened in your wife's family or your husband's family, or there's situations whereby you need to do something. But for the most part, don't buy into obligation spending in the sense of it's Mother's Day, so you must. Especially when you see all these influencers and co online, Mother's Day, they go to go and rent helicopter. Remember that, like, what's all this? Now, to each his own. If that's what you want and you have the money, more engine oil to your armpits. But if you don't, why are you doing it? Okay. So thank you so much for that comment, Michael. Especially if you're going to go into debt to do it, please, 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 and please, just don't do it. Okay. Don't what did I say? Don't do it. Thank you. Save yourself the headache, okay, and save yourself the money. Number 9. Now this one, COVID was the one that helped me with this one. So I started doing this in COVID, and I realized I actually really like it. One, it saves me a ton of time being somebody that works outside the home, and then 2, it stops me for impulse buying. I can't remember the last time I would go to the grocery store with a list and only buy everything on that list. I wish I had grabbed something that's not on the list. You understand? Just because it's on sale. But now with online shopping, saves me a ton of money. I throw it in my basket. I move on. You understand? I don't see periphery things to buy. Okay. So you save money because you're not tempted to buy stuff that's not on the list. You buy exactly what you need and you move on. If you're worried about quality, so because some people might say, oh, how do they pick blah blah blah. One thing I did was I did a few trial runs with different stores, and I found one particular store, superstore, that's really, really good. And I give them feedback. So if they pick something for me that I don't like, I'm gonna call and be like, hey, you guys pick this. I think next time you should pick that instead, And for the most part, my orders are always on point, always quality, like things like plantain. I always put a note there. If it's not yellow, don't pick it. Don't give me green plantain. If I want green plantain, I will put it there. Like, okay, fine, give me green. You understand? Things like that. Okay. For bananas, I always say the closer to green, the better, just because I don't like yellow bananas. Okay. So, but things like that's what I'm talking about. So you can put notes, you can give them feedback. So if you're having issues with your grocery shopping, just give them feedback. Okay. And it gets better. But grocery shopping online has helped us save a ton of money because we're not tempted to touch and to take everything that's not on the list. Now, the next one I really like. This one has really, really helped us limit bulk buying. So, with Costco and with, all these other things, it's so easy to get carried away with, but I'm saving money. I think there was one time they were having a sale on, was it Gain or something? And I wanted to buy 4, and I had to pause and say, come, I'm going to buy 4 jugs of laundry. Why? Just because it's on sale. And I calculated how much it's going to cost me, well over $100. And I'm like, wait, if I buy just 2 now, okay, that will last me for how many months? Maybe 1 or 2 months, 2 to 3 months, maybe. And then the remaining $75, if I put it in my S&P 500 fund, how much would it? Do you understand? In my mind, I was like, why am I wasting money because it's on sale? Okay, so as much as possible, bulk buying can also be counterproductive if you overdo it to the extreme. Now, there's some people that have made a career out of this thing, couponing, buying things on sale, and they literally have Costco in their garage and in their backyard. If you're that kind of person and that's what floats your boat, do you? But if you are not, please, bulk buying, limit it. You get paid by the month, okay, or by the week, or by every 2 weeks. Why are you shopping 6 months down the line when you've not even gotten the money yet? Okay, so you need to start asking yourself some questions. you're gonna get paid for this month. Let's say you make 5,000 or $10,000. I say I want to be using 10,000 as an example. You're going to make $10,000 this month. Your expenses, let's say for the house, are 1,500 normally, between tissue paper, groceries, blah blah blah. Now a whole bunch of stuff are on sale. You're going to go and spend an extra maybe five to another 1,000, 500 to another 1,000, and you've not yet received that money. Okay, you're buying for 2, 3, 4 months down the line. Okay, so be very careful when it comes to bulk buying, because it can become counterproductive and actually cost you more in the long run than it does in the short run. Okay, so be very careful with that, because you want to free up your cash flow wherever possible. Don't tie up your cash flow. Always, always do not tie up your cash flow. For those that have children, especially now that I have a toddler, I've been doing so much research, asking other moms, asking people different things, because children's activities are not cheap. Okay, so you want to look for and find free and low cost children activities. Okay, things like going to the park, going swimming. Like swimming is one of those things that you don't know that's actually so cheap, depending on where you're going to. A lot of times what happens is some of these groups like Rotary, Kingsman, some of these groups that are out to serve the community, they actually pay for sessions, for things like swimming sessions and whatnot across the city, such that, for example, my city, they might say, okay, this Saturday, anybody that wants to come and swim, it's free, or it's like $5, okay, for the entire family to do it. You understand? Things like that, those are low cost activities. So if you do your research, find out from, things like your local library, your local family leisure centers. They have so many things out there that kids can do for free, okay? Your local library is one that is such a huge resource. I love my library. I've been a member since I moved to this city. Any city I go to, I always join the library, because there's just so many resources. For example, our local library has an indoor play place. So in winter time, if I need my child to burn off some energy, it's free. Go there, let him burn energy. The Family Leisure Center, they have a play place indoors that's $5 per session for the entire family. So I can go with myself and different kids, and it's $5 per family, and they will go burn energy, practically free. Lots of businesses offer drop-in classes. So you might find a gymnastics class, even some gyms that offer free classes for children under a certain age. There are also government-funded places that you might be surprised offer things like swimming, sports, after-school care, and co that are free. So just take your time to do some research instead of spending, large money here and there. Anu says, I stopped bulk buying because I forgot some. And yes, thank you, Anu, for sharing this. This one actually happened to me too. I'll go and buy in bulk. And then I'll look at it and be like, because it will sit in my pantry for how long? 6 weeks, 7 weeks, sometimes several months. And I'm like, this thing has expired and I have to throw it away. So you ended up wasting money in the long run, okay, in the name of bulk buying. Thank you so much for that comment. That is so awesome, because bulk buying actually does waste money, especially if you're not going to use it. So be very careful, especially if your family is smaller, okay? Why are you buying, like I mentioned, 4 jugs of Tide, what do you call it, of game? You don't need all those things, okay? So be very careful when it comes to bulk buying. Thank you so much for that comment. And the next thing, I'm almost done here, is staycations and local fun. So you don't need a flight to make memories, okay? You don't. Again, I know we're surrounded by a lot of influencers and co. You don't need a flight to make memories. Use opportunities like the summertime, your vacation time, to explore, nearby attractions. Go visit family and friends. I know, like, one of the things we used to do when we were kids back home was, for example, let's say it was Easter, it was Christmas, it was whatnot. You knew you were going to grandma's house, or you knew you were going to Uncle So and So's house, or you knew you were going to visit cousins here, there, and everywhere. Why do we stop doing things like that? Instead of going to Cancun, I'm not saying don't go to Cancun. Go to Cancun if you can afford it and you want to enjoy yourself, sure. But once in a while, go visit your friends in Edmonton. Go and spend a weekend there or a week there and just visit everybody that you've not seen in a while. Go to Toronto if you have friends there, visit all of them at once. Go, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, be more intentional with your travel, okay? Because you don't necessarily have to do too much in terms of spending, okay? So staycations are great. Staycations could be local. They could be, going to visit a nearby city. Let's say you live in Alberta, for example. You live in Edmonton. You've never been to Banff, go to Banff, okay? Or you've never been to Jasper, go to Jasper. You understand? There's so many local attractions. You've never been to Waterton. You've never even been to BC, that's right next door, okay? And you're going all the way to Tulum. There's nothing wrong, again, if you can afford it. But my point is, if you're someone that's currently working on, say, paying off debts, building wealth and whatnot, those are some things you can do. Turn it into a road trip. Someone like me, I don't like being in the car for too long. Okay, so I might stagger it just because after 4 hours, I'm like, why am I still in this car? You understand? So my point is make the most of what you do. For example, we plan trips, we go to Calgary, we'll spend a week there, we might spend 3 days, might spend 2 days, relax, unwind, and come back. Okay. There are so many local areas. For example, there are parks and whatnot. We just found out that close to us in the States, less than 4 hours or about 4 hours drive away. Hotels are very cheap, food is very cheap. It will cost me about the same to understand to go somewhere there instead of planning this elaborate trip that's going to cost me several thousands. Now, you can go on trips that are going to cost you several hundred, several thousands if you can afford it. That's not what I'm saying. But my point is, if you're in a stage of trying to save money, you can still have fun without booking a flight. Okay. There's no need for elaborate destinations if you can't afford it. Find what you can afford and enjoy it. Okay. Banff is still a great place to go to. Edmonton is still a great place to go to. Some of you have never been to Edmonton. You've never been to West Edmonton Mall. You've never, go there. 6 hours, 4 hours drive wherever you're from. Go there, spend some time, stay with a friend, stay with a family member, and before you know it, you've had a good time. Come back home. Okay, so there are many ways to work around it. This one I always like reminding people every year because a lot of us forget. Use your work benefits. Okay. I see a comment here. It says there's free craft building every. Yes, this one I can't wait for my son to be old enough because I'm definitely going to be taking him to this one, the Home Depot one. Let them teach him how to knock hammer and whatnot. It's free and you don't have to pre-register. They will teach them how to use household tools and whatnot. This is actually pretty cool. He says, how about going on a cruise? Yeah, so go for your cruise if you can afford it. You understand? Someone like us in our family, I think I've said it before. We do vacations like right now, just because we have certain goals. We don't do elaborate vacations every year. So we might do one every 2 years. For example, we went to Nigeria. The last time we did earlier this year, the last time we did an elaborate vacation where it was a massive whatever was, I think, 2021. We went on a cruise. Okay. So we've staggered it. So we do a big trip, maybe one every 2 or 3 years, and then we do local staycations. And that's because we have goals that we're working towards right now. Okay. A time is coming where we'll plan elaborate trips every year. One of the reasons why we don't want to do too much now is because we're waiting for the kids to be old enough so that we can all experience some of these things together. So now what we're doing is we're conquering places like Toronto. For example, we went to Toronto last year or 2 years ago because my husband had never been to Toronto. We're going to go to Halifax, for example, because my husband has never been to Halifax. You understand? My point is we're doing local, whatnot, and then international maybe every 2 years. But my point is find what works for you and your family. Okay, don't put yourself under pressure because of influencers, if that makes sense. Okay. And there's some influencers out there, like I said, Otamos Travel, check her out. That will teach you how to travel on a budget and travel very well on a budget. Okay, so make sure you check that out. If you're one of those people, you're like, I don't want to go to Halifax or Toronto, I beg. I want to go to Cancun, I want to go to Japan, I want to go here, there, and everywhere. You can find influencers out there that actually do it very well and they will help you save money and they will, you get a very good experience on a budget. Okay, check out Otamos Travel. Okay, use work benefits. Especially for things like self-care. Some of you have massage, you have physio, you have chiro in your work benefits. One time you've never used it, or you've only used it once and you've been at the job 5 years. Please go and use your benefits, okay? Another thing that benefits have that's really, really good is professional development, okay? So I don't mess around. I always use my work benefits to take a course or two for reskilling, for upskilling. Use your benefits wherever possible. Some of you, your workplace will pay for courses, will pay for, designations, will pay for different things, but you don't take advantage of things like that. Please take advantage of it. Use your work benefits, okay? For example, if you're someone you want to shop, go to your optometrist and go and shop for designer sunglasses. Usually a lot of the things are covered in your work benefits that people don't know. I have an auntie every year, her and her husband. They go and shop Prada, Burberry, Gucci. They have all the sunglasses in this world, and it's from their work benefits. They don't pay out of pocket for it. Okay, I've learnt work from them. This year, I told my husband we're going to go and pick up sunglasses as well. You understand? Because it's covered in your work benefits. So use things like that. Claim eligible expenses where possible. Some of us, our health benefits allow us to claim things like I mentioned, courses. For example, in some benefits, you can claim hotel stays. Let's say you go on a trip, you can claim the hotel, you can claim the gas. For example, my health, my wellness spending account, you can claim um um fuel from your vehicle. Okay, I've never claimed it to me that I'm talking now because I use it for courses usually, or for like things like gym memberships, or for like nutrition classes, whatever it is. My point is use your benefits. Okay. Um and he said, even my work benefits said, yes, that's how it should be. Do you know how much of, okay, maybe because I work in finance, right? And I've seen some of these things, but a lot of companies on the back end, and this is across board, because employees don't use these benefits. There's just so much money sitting down there doing nothing. So you that you're spending it, don't feel guilty at all. You are doing the Lord's work by using your benefits. Yes, your work benefits should fear you. I love that, Ado. So yes, please use your work benefits. Don't be scared. Nobody's going to flog you. Nobody's going to beat you for using it. It's your own. It's your own. Please use it. Um, we have two more and then we're done. Combine accounts. Okay, so here, this one, I always say this one as a reminder. Wherever possible, things like cell phones. So when we first got married, for example, I was with Rogers, my husband was with Fido. So what we did was we called Rogers, we called Fido, we found the better deal between both of them, and I jumped on my husband's plan because Fido offered us a better deal. And we've been saving every year since. Okay, so combining things like insurance. So for example, when we got married, my husband had his own insurance, I had my own insurance for a vehicle. We combined it, we saved a ton of money. Things like our bank accounts, he was paying for one account, I was paying for another. We combined it, we saved money. Okay, so you can save a lot of money from bundling expenses, bundling insurance, bundling cell phones, bundling bank accounts, bundling, just bundle. You're already married, bundle all the way. Okay, so find ways to save money by combining everything into one. What's the point of you paying $20 for your bank account here? Me too, I'm paying $20 for my bank account here. That's $40 a month. Times it by 1 year, times it by the amount of years you've been married. It starts to add up. Okay. And it says personal wellness account, please use it. Yes, I don't know how some of you are letting your wellness account balances expire. Your company is giving you 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, and you're just leaving the money there to be sleeping. Hey, Jesus. I can't. Please don't do it. Please teach yourself today. Start using your work benefits. Go for massage. No, they will not beat you, I promise. Nobody's going to fire you for going to massage. Okay. Yeah, and it says home and auto. Yes, we get a massive discount by combining our home and auto, and by again bundling everything together. What's the point of mommy is paying for her own, daddy is paying for his own? Synergize. Okay, yes, use your group discounts, especially for things like insurance. So if you're part of, and I've mentioned it a few times, things like APEGA, CPA, whatever designations or professional professional, what you call it, that you're with, you want to make sure you're using it wherever possible. Multi-vehicle discounts. Yes, if you have a car, your husband has a car, combine it under the same insurance, save yourself a ton of money. So make sure you are bundling wherever possible. Okay. Number 15 says, so maintain what you own. So this again is very similar to what I said earlier. A lot of us are not actually maintaining the things we own. Your items will last much longer if you maintain it. Things like your vehicle. Oil change is not maintenance. It's okay. Let me rephrase. The maintenance for cars is not just oil change. Okay, there's more to maintaining a vehicle than oil change. There's more to maintaining a home than just cleaning it. Okay, so make sure you are doing proper maintenance on things you own. Equipment, you have a lawnmower. When was the last time you cleaned it? The other day, my husband literally took our vacuum apart and washed all the parts and everything, and the vacuum is performing much better. Okay, so my point is maintaining what you own will cause it to last longer and will save you money in the long run. Okay, there's no rule that says you must change cars every 5 years. If you're maintaining your vehicle, you can literally ride it till the wheels fall off, quite literally. Okay. Yes, this one, if you work from home, call insurance to reduce your kilometers. Yes, yes, yes. So that you're not paying high insurance for no reason. If you change offices and you've not called them yet, especially if it's closer to your home, make sure you call and you change it. Okay. And then last but not least is to tithe. Okay, so as you know, us here at Fixie Finance, we are children of God. One of the things that has really helped us in the long run is being faithful in our tithing. It's a principle that works for us. We believe it closes financial leaks, and it helps us to stay disciplined with giving and budgeting overall. Okay, and in my opinion, I personally believe God wants to increase each and every one of our capacity to give. Okay, when your finances are in order, giving is very easy. Giving to people, giving to God, giving to causes, whatever the case may be. Okay. So make sure you are, as much as possible, paying your tithe where you can and then taking it from there. And it says do a financial audit so you know what goes out of your account every month. Yes, this one, this one, like I can't stress this one enough, and I say it here all the time. Make sure you are reviewing those bank accounts, those credit card accounts. Like sometimes when I sit down with someone that's starting their journey, when we review the last, say, 3 months or 6 months of their bank account, it's usually stunning what we find. Things like subscriptions that they are paying for, things like expenses that they didn't even know they were, by the time we add up what they are spending on, say, eating out or groceries or even basics, they're just like, wow, I didn't know I was spending that much. Okay, so make sure you are doing an audit, like Anu is saying here. Make sure you're checking it out. And then what happens is you do an audit just the first time, then it now becomes on a go forward basis. Okay, in the sense of, because now you've made a budget and you're tracking your expenses, you don't need to go back because now you're paying attention live as the thing is happening. Okay, so wherever possible, if you can, in the comment section, make sure you let us know what are the things you are doing that is helping you save money. Okay, what are you doing right now that's saving you money every month, every year, whatever it is? I know has shared a few with us. Michael has shared a few with us. What are you doing? Share it in the comment section. Let us know, what are you doing that is saving you money. Me too, I'm looking to learn, especially in this economy. Anything you are doing that's saving you money, from little things to big things, please let us know. Okay. Angie says she's budgeting. Yes, 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 yes. I know a lot of people don't like budgeting, but for those of us that like it, it works. Okay. And budgeting is in degrees. There are some people that are very meticulous about every cent, every dollar, you understand? If that's you, sure. If you're the kind of person, you just need a big picture. But my point is, whatever it is you're doing, you must know the state of your finances. You must know what's coming in. You must know what's going out. So yes, thank you, Angie, for that. Budgeting is a huge, huge one. um this one says sitting at home. Yeah, so stay in your house. I had it on one of the list here where it says avoid recreational shopping. See me, I see them. I like my house. I'm paying so much money for the house already. Why am I going outside? To each his own. No, but me, I like my house. The moment I enter my house, I always say it. Once I reach, especially if I've taken off, I'm not leaving my house again. You understand? So sitting at home is a great way to save money. Yes, sit down in your house, because every time you step outside is $100. Just opening the window safe, you've already spent $200. At least that's what I find. You open the door, you open the window, money have just disappeared. Okay, so yes, sitting at home is a very good one. So yes, thank you so much for sharing. And if you're not a homebody, you like going around, find things that are low cost or that are free. Okay, there's so many options and so many things out there. Thank you all for joining today. I really appreciate your time. I will see you again in the next one. This is Fix It Finance. We go live. Oh, I like this one. Anu says black tax is as led by the Lord. No emotion. Yes, black tax is not. Not. I'm trying to tread softly here, but yes, black tax is by budgets. Okay, you have to be very wise when it comes to how you are handling black tax. Okay, because you cannot help a brother if you yourself are not standing. Okay. But yes, we've gone over time, so I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for everyone that commented, everyone that's watching. I really appreciate you guys' time. I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. See you all next time. Bye.